your world always be joyful, and let your worries disappear. And may you always have the strength to carry.
This is an instructional video and should be used in conjunction with my book 12 Steps to Natural Gardening and my 16-page written set of instructions, which includes a material list to build Krautter's year-round organic vegetable garden. This is a structure that I designed and built to utilize compost energy, solar energy, and thermal energy to provide the heat needed for growing vegetables in the winter. I strongly believe we need to focus on energy that does not pollute our air, for these are the energies we must develop. I also designed a method to recirculate water during the winter months. As I built this project, I took pictures and videos with my iPhone. Utilizing Apple's iMovie program, we put together this video. It's an amazing project that produced amazing results. This is my plan. 1 square equals 1 square foot. Run the greenhouse from north to south. The structure we built is half this size. I bought 16 10-foot lengths, 6-inch solid smooth wall pipes. We need to find a sunny piece of land and level the ground. The pipes are ready to be post hole dug and sunk into the ground. Using mason lined string and stakes, line out to scale the 2 raised beds. Locate the exact position of each post. Dig the holes 2 feet deep with a post hole digger. Build your raised benches with 12-inch lumber and place the first pole on the inner corners. Use a level to set your poles. Add gravel to surround the poles, firm them into position. Continue building your raised bed. Add your uprights and place in the right position. Looking good. We're getting there. Getting the corners perfectly positioned is the most important task. Bringing in gravel for the base of the walk. Gravel is loaded into buckets so that it can be carried into the walk. A 4-inch layer of gravel should be evenly spread out. The gravel needs to be tamped down to make it solid. Meanwhile, the preparation of the planting bed, located in my book 12 Steps to Natural Gardening on page 184, is taking place. The organic ingredients are being added in layers, spread out, and dug into the top 12 inches of soil. The bed is now ready for planting. The second raised bed needs to be built. Uprights need to be added to the second bed, replicating the first. Man, what a great job! Congratulations on a job well done. It looks great. Now we have to add cement to the interior of the pole to make it watertight. After dumping 3 1-gallon containers of cement into the pole, we need to tamp it down to make it watertight. We now need to remove all of the raised bed so that we can line the base with chicken wire. We bring out the double-folded wide roll of chicken wire. It is rolled out and placed on top of the poles. Holes are cut out into the chicken wire to fit around the pole. Chicken wire covers the base of the floor, and the raised beds are built back like they were on top of the wire, making the vegetable garden animal-proof. We're adding prime paint to each pole in preparation of painting it black. We are planting our flower garden, which will make our structure look beautiful and will attract beneficials to the vegetable area. We are tamping down our gravel to make a strong base for our brick walk. We need to add a 2-inch layer of sand before setting the brick. The beginning of a beautiful garden is taking shape. This is a deer-proof garden, and we continue to add layers of deer-proof plants. The brick is set using a 3-foot wide pattern. Brick will absorb heat from the sun and release heat on a cold night. All of the uprights need to be painted black and filled with water. Black holes will absorb heat from the sun and heat the water. Using the formula in my book, 12 Steps to Natural Gardening, on page 159, the proper organic ingredients are mixed into the soil. Like baking a cake, the ingredients need to be blended well together. It's important to pick out sticks and stones to get a clean soil. We place the soil into buckets so that we can carry it in to fill our raised beds with our mixed soil. The soil needs to be filled to the top of the raised bed. Now we need to start building our 6 compost bins. There are 6 bins built out of 2 by 4 inch lumber, 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. Built this structure on a flat surface inside. It will be carried later to the proper location in back of our vegetable garden. As we keep adding flowers to our deer-proof garden, we need to be conscious of scale and color. The garden is starting to look good and take shape. We need to build and position the door jamb, secure it in place. We now are building the door out of old 6-inch by 1-inch lumber. We measured and built our door screens out of chicken wire in the shop and screwed them into place. We rolled up 6 rolls of 1-inch poly pipe into 20-inch circles. They are hung on the lower side of the compost bins and connected to each other. Hanging on the side, this allows for the compost bins to be turned on a regular basis. Chicken wire lines each of the bins. 4-inch tubing with holes is hung in the center to provide aeration. The compost bins are filled with layers of chopped up organic material. They will generate heat, 2/3 carbon material to 1/3 nitrogen material. As the microbes break down the pile, they will generate heat. The chicken wire is connected and hooks onto the next bin, allowing the front to be opened up for easy mixing. A 1-inch poly tube is laid out and then dug into the top 2 inches of soil, and later will provide heat from a circulating water system connected to our tubing in the compost bins. We tied into the 1-inch poly pipe closed circuit line and another upright with an air vent, and installed a water fill intake with a valve,
I knew what I was doing.
Now
I'd be
building the
dangerous.
caps that will fit into the poles to support the roof structure. Inserts were made by
really
cutting
dangerous.
poles into 3-inch lengths and slitting it longitudinally to reduce the size of the
And
circumference.
you throw that baby in there. Perfect. Just set this on here, just like before. Line it up. So we missed that big baby hole. We'll put that one. You know what? That's interesting. I can actually cheat that one right there and use the holes that we already have. Because I'm a cheater. Don't drill into your finger here, folks. Make sure you have the right size screw. It does not go through the wood. You see, I check it, and I can see that it doesn't go through. So that I know before I start pushing, it's not going to go through into my hand. Okay? You want to make sure that that's the case.
All right, you're on video.
All right, we're getting it all built here. Put that to that, that, and it slides into that. All right.
It is now time to hang the deer netting. Allow extra netting to hang forward to prevent animals from climbing over.
I have to make 4. Join 2 pipes.
We are using
Not a square
electrical
90-degree
conduit
corner
to build the roof
All
structure.
right, so we can cut with the camera. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get that pipe. We're gonna run a little bit right there. That edge has been sanded down. I'm gonna put it over here in my handy little jig. And take another piece of this. And jam it in there. Just to put a little bit of this on it. Make sure we get a really good, solid connection there. And then I give it a couple of jabs like that. All right. Ready. You take a 1/4 inch by 3 inch bolt, run it through there with a washer, put another washer right there, and oh, look at that, it fell right through. Good thing I got a videographer to keep me happy, huh? And then we take one of our long pieces and we drop that right on top of there. Get it to come through. And with any luck, it comes all the way through, fits a washer and another nut. We're having a little trouble here. So let's give it a little gentle persuasion. Where's my hammer? Probably an easier way. Screw the bolt in. No, I got something bound up here, that's all. That bolt goes all the way through. That bolt. I don't know why it's giving me such a hard time. There we go. You know what they say, get a bigger hammer. Okay, once that's together. As I bend my pipe, it's got to be in that little corner as it springs back. Or if you have 2 people, it's easy. But my videographer, he's like Union. He only does one job: videography. He won't help me with this. But you could say, I don't need his help. Look, it's done. Beautiful. You even want that extra length on the back end to cover your compost. I don't know. Looks awful good. That's a nice height. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's good.
I think that's They're tough guys. They eat these bolts.
After the 4 half conduit rings we built, they have to be secured to the top of the outer poles and screwed into the wood inserts we positioned. Once the 4 roof conduits are in place, form the roof outline, longitudinal piped conduits screwed in each one to hold them in place. After everything is finished, it is painted black. As soon as the painting was completed, the vegetables were planted. The vegetables grew nicely throughout the fall. In early November, it is time to cover the structure with a heavy-duty greenhouse plastic. Use rolls of batten tape to staple the plastic onto the wooden outline structure. The batten tape can be pulled off in the spring and reused the following year. We have a lush and nutritious crop of vegetables to harvest during the upcoming winter. You will note the 2 8-inch columns dug into the soil. They are dug below frost level, and 40-degree thermal heat is pumped into the structure from the earth. We placed a second sheet of plastic above the columns to condense water, and a reflective sheet in the north side to reflect heat back into the structure. We placed 3 35-gallon buckets of water into the structure and watered the plants when they got dry. Water evaporated from the soil and transpired from the leaves of the plants. It condensed on the plastic and dripped back into the soil. The curvature of the roof is so steep that snow never collected. On a cold winter day when the sun shone through, we got temperatures of 70-degree water in our columns. As the sun disappeared, we had 16 uprights acting as radiators to heat the structure. We had compost heat to heat our soil. For 3 weeks, the ice in the front of the door was so thick I couldn't open it. It was 0 degrees out, and I thought I lost everything. When I opened the door, all the plants were alive. The winter is over and spring arrives. We can start the whole process over again. I was able to rotate 4 crops a year in this amazing structure. I wish that this small greenhouse could be built at each school in our country. Then each school could have their own living laboratory to show our youth how to harness clean energy. There are hundreds of lessons that can be taught here. Schools need to teach the consequences of global warming and the solutions we can pursue to reverse it. If the youth of our nation can understand, develop, and harness clean energy, we won't have to rely on fossil fuels that pollute our world and lead to global warming. I wanted to grow organic vegetables all year round, but what I learned in the process was a much bigger find that we need to put to use. I found that we can utilize Mother Nature's resources for energy we need.
Your world always be joyful, and let your worries disappear. always have the strength